Cutting out alcohol can feel just a little bit lonelier when you're a guy in your 20s. If you go into Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and type in alcohol free, sober curious, sober lifestyle, any of those types of keywords or hashtag, the vast majority of videos, creators, influencers that come up are all female. Now, there are a few males out there, so not to say it's 100%, but there are a lot more figures out there that are speaking from the female perspective as a young adult cutting out alcohol than there are people my age who are males cutting out alcohol. There are plenty of older gentlemen who are also talking about sober living, recovery, that type of thing on these platforms, but in terms of people skewing younger in their 20s, there are very few that I've found. I was thinking about why this is and came to two main conclusions. The first is that men generally just don't talk about this type of thing as much in terms of cutting out alcohol, their impacts that they're having physically, mentally, emotionally from alcohol, and just opening up about the emotions that bubble up and the emotions surrounding cutting out alcohol. And so I think generally it's just easier for women to be more vulnerable and share their stories of going alcohol free than men are. But I think there is a lot of value in men out there who are in their 20s looking to cut out alcohol, seeing that other people are doing it too. And like I said, it's not impossible to find people out there who are doing this and talking about it online. I just find the space is mostly dominated by women. The second main reason I think this is happening is because of the social constructs around alcohol and masculinity. This is portrayed everywhere from movies where you see high value, high status people who are drinking a cocktail or a glass of whiskey, guys who are having a moment sharing a beer and friendship over drinks and beers and things like that, or also just the idea of wanting up each other. You know, personally, I always found that socially there was a certain level of status that you got from being able to drink a lot, have a high tolerance, be able to drink a lot in a short amount of time. And ultimately now I see that as not anything to be proud of per se. But at the time, especially in college and in that type of social environment, it was definitely a higher status thing to think that and to be able to show that. So going from that type of environment in college or in your social situations and then doing a full 180 to cutting out alcohol from your life is a tough transition. Socially, I felt that I lost a bit of status or people looked down on me for not drinking. And this is just a hard thing to deal with if that was the context that you were used to being known in. So I think there's a deep rooted connection to feeling like emasculated almost when you choose to stop drinking, if that was the context you were coming from, which I just think is hard and people don't want to talk about as much because they're putting themselves out there at risk of other people looking at them with that same light. Which is why I think just the result of this overall, the result of this social construct and the fact that there are less people out there who are in their 20s and guys talking about this really just results in a feeling of isolation and this idea that if you do feel like alcohol isn't serving you, you don't see as many examples or role models to remove it from your life in a healthy way. Feeling like an outsider or like you're the only one in your social situation or social group to do it, I think is very normal because, again, it takes a lot of effort and self-control and discipline and forward thinking to say, I'm going to remove alcohol from my life and ultimately then make decisions that are going to be challenging in terms of filling my time with other things and finding new hobbies and dealing with emotions that come up. But ultimately, it's going to be better for me in the long run. This is exactly where I came from. I did not have a background of alcohol abuse or substance abuse. I just knew that alcohol was not serving me in social situations anymore. And so I made the choice to cut it out, even though it was hard. And I've seen a lot of improvement since. And of course, I'm no sobriety expert or anything like that. I just try to make these videos to show other people what life could be like, the challenges and benefits of going alcohol free, and all of that in the hopes that it can help you or somebody like you out there. So personally, I think the antidote to this feeling of isolation and feeling like an outsider is finding your why and community. Those are the two things. Finding your why is important because it's the only thing that's going to keep you on track at the end of the day. You're going to feel a lot of pressure from other people, friends, family, peers to drink, and the why is going to be the thing that you can always come back to that's going to keep you on track. But community is also really important because then you won't feel isolated. You can do this by finding local events in your area, whether that's like run clubs and more fitness or morning oriented things that probably don't involve alcohol, or actual sober events that are being put out and put on by communities in your area, or you can look to online communities. There's a few apps, or you can look in the description below for a link to my community, which helps guys break their habit of social drinking. But ultimately, I'm making this video to say that if you're a guy in your 20s, sober curious, or going alcohol free, know that you're not alone. I know there's not tons of other public figures or influencers or creators out there on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and these types of social platforms that talk about this a lot, but that doesn't mean it's not happening, and that doesn't mean that you are alone going through that journey. It's okay to question your relationship with alcohol, and I never want to tell anyone what to do. I just think people should make an informed, data-driven decision based on experiences drinking and not drinking. If this video was helpful, please subscribe to my channel for more alcohol-free, sober curious, and self-improvement videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.